Austin.
Here.
Kinsey. Mossberg. Weaver. Parsons.
Here. Okay, we have a quorum. We'll go on to item 3, approval of minutes of regular meeting held August 11th, 2025.
You approve the minutes as reported.
I do have a question on the minutes. To me, that just looks like a blank agenda. Is that how you're adjusting this? I mean, she never puts down any of the discussion or anything.
It was a blank agenda.
Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't have any discussion. I don't think there was something we really talked about.
Well, that might be my fault. I didn't look at it. I just posted it. It was just the agenda, that's all it was. I may grab the wrong ones. We can, let me withdraw my motion. Can I do that?
Yeah.
How about we table it and approve the next meeting 2 months worth of times? That
I'll
right
second.
there. Yep.
Okay. Have a motion second. Call roll, please.
Weaver? Yep. Parsons?
Yes.
Close.
Yes. Go on to item 4, reports from staff, city council report.
As far as that goes, I'm going to have Kelly step in a little bit here. As you probably know, Steve resigned Friday. We've started our search for our new city manager. And as far as how that affects the airport, I know Courtney stepped in and she's doing a lot of his responsibilities along with Kelly, and I'll let Kelly take over from there.
Courtney's been helping out and doing a good job. She's spread pretty thin, but she's been fielding kind of a lot of the day-to-day stuff that doesn't necessarily need to be elevated up above that level. But between Courtney and I, we're trying to make sure our agendas are posted. I guess we get agendas posted, maybe we didn't post minutes right, but kind of looking at the council appointed a committee to do the search. That council committee is Greg Bowman, Matt Barr, and Matt Adair and Garrett Barr. And they met yesterday, and so advertisements got online today for the open position. Be in the newsgram tomorrow or next week. We'll start with the 30-day posting, basically. November 15th, I think, is the deadline for the posting. And see what we get. And if it needs to stay open longer, it'll stay open longer. The big things going on with the city probably right now, biggest thing that everybody notices is the ODOT project. That is an ODOT project. The city involvement has been to the extent that we've had some undocumented water lines that kind of have shown up in the construction project.
There's all the change on the side of the hill.
And
Wow.
so we're having to cut and cap those lines. They're not part of our water. They've got water running to them, but they're not necessary in our water distribution system. So cut them, get them out of the highway, or at least where there's not water running through the highway, and that kind of thing. So that's the big thing. Tonight, one of those cut caps will start at 8 o'clock. They did find the other line by the apartments next to the Lincoln Playground, and so that one, they're not sure yet. I anticipate probably either tomorrow or the next day they'll look at that cut cap on that line. And then I believe, I make no promise, I believe that's the extent of the water lines that they need to find and take out of the highway project. So we did start to work on some of the in-town water lines that were determined to be in the poorest condition, part of our FAP loan with the OWRB. And so those water line projects are going on. I think they finished up, it's either Fair or Mill Street section line there, and they're getting ready to start on Hunt Street section line there. Other than that, there's street projects coming in behind some of these water line repairs. And I think trying to, just navigate another transition to city business manager, probably to see what's going on. If there's any questions, I can try to answer them.
I'm really there for it. Is the ODOT project, is that going to be concrete when they lay down or asphalt?
They're doing concrete.
All the way to where they're starting down to the city line? Good.
I'll get clarification on that, though. That was my,
Well, half of it was asphalt, half of it was concrete. Good thing.
Looking like where it was too late, asphalt through down where it started concrete. So down at the bottom of that. Yep.
I'll tell you, if you're taking tractor to John Deere, you turn off Harper, you got to clear the way because these people won't stop. And you can't go anywhere. And it's like so narrow, but it'll get done. Okay.
Anything else on the council report? If not, we'll go to the airport manager's report.
Josh wasn't able to be here today.
Did you say why?
Yes.
Okay.
He's been gone all week.
Don't we have another employee?
Yes.
Could the other employee give the airport manager's report? Probably not. Okay. I'm just saying. So he coordinated that with you?
I found out he wasn't going to be here, and so I'm here.
Okay.
I did not get a chance to look at his reports. But we can double up next month if you want, or if you've got questions on what was in the packet. I can try to find some answers.
Okay. I guess we'll delay our questions for the airport manager until next meeting.
Did notice the window is in, and then just trim them out and all that.
That's huge.
And I know that the jet fuel is almost done. I forget what he told me last week. I was waiting on it.
That's a question I was going to ask.
And the AWAS, is the AWAS working completely yet?
I do not believe. So on XM weather, which you get a flag that shows all the weather,
Yeah,
they're still missing the temperature viewpoint spread.
yeah.
And that's people based where they're going to stop. If it's like even, it's going to be fog. We're not going to come.
Right.
So he doesn't quite know how to get that to XM weather. It does show up, everything but the temperature viewpoint spread. And I think the call-in works. I don't really use that. But that's kind of important for the jet traffic because if it's, dew point 16, temperature 16, dew point 16, they'll go somewhere that's got a 3-degree dew point spread just to make sure they don't have to have a 0-0 approach.
Right.
I'll have them send out an email regarding the jet tank and AWAS and window.
And the ODOLs?
Odals is
We'll have to pay for them to update them. The engineer said that this system is several places around the state and none of them work.
In fact, he's not recommending anybody do Odals projects
So-
right now because of the trouble they've been having.
So if we're going to have them, what's the use of having those stanchions where the farmers have to farm around them?
Yeah, we'll need to talk.
Both the city leases, the VAP lease and the airport lease, they have to farm around those stanchions. And I don't think.
I apologize, John, I don't have any answers for you tonight.
For the farmers, it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
It's like farming around a power line. It sucks. Okay. Yep.
We'll just go on to the next item, which is presentation and discussion and recording of plot map.
So during the construction, obviously we had a lot of fog was poured on McDemies, a lot of concrete pebbles, a lot of gravel brought in, especially bad down Max's and Bob's and my hangar, because that's where the trucks were coming in. And anybody that's got a low-wing airplane with a prop that's through the ground, or turbine, or even RE4s, or even your Cessna Twin, the propeller picks that up and throws it against your leading edges, which causes damage to your airplane. And I know that the city wanted to dual use the brand new $275,000 sweeper you bought, or whatever that was. But we have to call the city and get the sweeper here, which is not a guarantee. And so, doing some research, these fog boss mats which you have some data there, and they used to have one here, or am I correct?
Yeah, it didn't work very good.
Well,
Because our asphalt was so uneven in places that it just kind of piled up and didn't pick it up. Because it's not flexible enough to...
But it wasn't a fog boss, though.
Yeah, it was a fog box.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, we have a brand new taxiway that's going to have new concrete that is going to pebble and release parts of the concrete. I did some research. I got you why this works. If you watch the video, Air Force bases, Navy bases, they all use it. An 8-foot one that can be pulled with a golf cart, an ATV, the little tractor, even one at zero turns. The 8-foot one is $5,614. The shipping's a little high, I think, but the total cost would be $6,261. What I don't know, and that's why I wouldn't want to vote tonight, but we ought to really research this, is if it doesn't work, can we get our money back? Right now, if we had that here at the airport, it has no mechanical parts, it doesn't require any maintenance, and they could sweep, if they were doing the airport check down the runway or the taxiways, they could just pull this window behind the pickup. And it's something the airport controls, not the city. And I've asked the city sweep, when they had the containers down there at Kinsey's, there was a lot of fog down in front of our hangars. And I had to hit Josh every day to get the sweepers down and clean up that whole area. Bob buys a lot of Jet A, has a turbine airplane. There's no need to damage his boots on his airplane, because of the fog. I think it's a win-win situation. The only thing I don't have information for the council is if it turns out that we do have too many uneven places and if it drags on that crack, well, then we can bring the sweeper in to get those cracks. But they could sweep the airport twice a week, every day, whatever we think, until it's clean all the time. And the other thing is the sweeper doesn't usually hit in front of the hangars. And that's our constituents, is the airport airplanes. And I think that you could go in front of the hangars, you could go all around the airport, and Jason or Josh, while they're doing that, could check out the status of things, make sure nothing's in array. I know we have it available in our budget, $6,200. It's a one-time, purchase. The only thing I wouldn't want to vote on tonight is I haven't talked to them. I've had 2 calls to them. It's my fault because they're after-hours calls. Is if it doesn't work, is there a money-back guarantee? That's my only question. So what I would present on this is, unless there's unless there's somebody that says, no, we don't want that, I would like to make a motion that we go ahead and proceed to purchase this with the knowledge that if it doesn't work as required, that we could return it and get most of our money back. That would be my motion.
Why don't you find that out first and then we can put it on?
Which we could do that.
Yeah,
We
because
could
we
put it
don't
on
have
trial
an action,
basis.
we don't have action on the agenda for this.
Okay.
So,
I will find that out and make sure that it's an action item for next month.
that would give us, but the last one that they brought up, or last, they dropped one, I used one off, and up there, we tried out for a month or so. And on the smooth, flat areas, it did a good job. But when it comes to the uneven, where we have the concrete that has the seam where they have this finishing, they drop it a little bit low, where they just leave all the stuff along the edges where the concrete meets the asphalt. The asphalt's up here and the concrete's low, it wouldn't pick up anything. And that's where a lot of our fog is coming from, is the asphalt deteriorating next to the edge of the concrete. But
Yeah. I would say on the north of here, there's just a lot of fog on the asphalt and the concrete that needs to be taken care of.
I think we could remedy a lot of that if we could get better personnel out there with it and just walk it and pick up the big stuff. I do it out from my hand. It's not that big of a job to keep it fairly clean. The Stegs runs in and out of there all the time, and they're all the time tracking the area in front of the round top and my hanger. I keep police pretty well.
So Dylan, what if the fog boss gave us an 80% solution?
Well, I'm not saying I'm against it. I'm just saying that it's not a 100% solution to the problem.
I get that.
We still need to have the personnel go out there.
Yes.
Even if we say we buy the fog box, there's still a lot of work out there that they need. The only way
Personally go out there.
yeah, that's the only way to cure it,
Right.
is for them to personally go out there and address the manual with a
I'll have the
broom, a
information.
shovel, a blower, something.
I think
So,
for the cost of it, I mean, it could be a good deal. I mean, it's not like it's expensive. It does have a motor. It doesn't
No
have
motor,
there's
no oil, no
maintenance.
batteries.
$6,200. I mean, that's definitely. I'm
If-
sure the damage it causes to an airplane.
So this is used military-wide
Mhm.
on all the, you got F-16s, you got, big intakes, and they run these things 24/7.
If, when you get the information, if you get it, in advance of the
Yep.
meeting, get it to me and Josh,
Yep.
we'll email it to the board so
Yep.
that they can start looking at it.
Yep,
in
before the
advance
meeting.
of the meeting.
Yep, I agree.
and they do wear out. They rougher your concrete surface, they will wear out, because they just have little plastic blades
Yep,
that rub against the concrete.
yep.
And as those wear out, they wear out to a certain point, and then they stop picking up anything.
So in the meantime,
So,
can we get priority if Josh calls to the city and says, we should have that new sweeper that's supposed to be really good. We should have it out here at least once a week, if not more.
I think, I'm not opposed to that. I would imagine we could talk to Drake or one of them and see if we can get on a schedule where it's out here at certain times.
Well,
I know
so,
the contractor ran a sweeper out here, but I haven't seen the city
Right.
at all.
so each month, we generate $45,000 in sales. And if the jets or the props come in and they know this is a clean airport, that word spreads. Trust me, I know it. And so if we have that sweeper, it's already being paid for, the driver is already being paid for, you don't generate $45,000 by cars driving down 4th Street.
Depends on the car. You're right.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, and we have some folks here who have expensive airplanes here at the airport.
Yeah.
And all of us on airplanes, whether it's expensive or not, we consider our airplanes expensive. So anyway, thanks for the discussion, I appreciate it. That was because of the fuel line.
You average it out, and it's not that much more.
I was just looking at his monthly sales right here, this
Yeah, but that's not profit, that's just gross.
gross.
Okay. We'll go on to anything else on the thought box. We'll go on to the next item, remarks and inquiries by airport commission members. There's some things that would be nice to address with Josh. You know, fall cleanup, there's a lot of weeds.
Yep.
Things that haven't been cleaned up that need to be taken care of before winter gets here.
I've had several airport members bring up an issue whether Josh and or Jason have had any kind of safety training regarding fire, regarding aircraft marshaling, regarding aircraft towing. And the answer is, I was hoping Josh would say he's got that lined up or not, but I think we need to bring that up to him that both of those guys need to attend some kind of training.
The FAA FAST team
Yeah.
has a whole list of free
Yeah.
seminars that you can watch online
Yeah.
that address anything and everything to do with
So the
aviation.
question is, if he was here, I was going to say, have you been doing that? If not, then we need to suggest he does that.
I've had people ask me just about the airport being closed during lunch. Have you guys had any questions on that?
Yeah, I have. I've had people wonder why the door's locked.
My thing is, if we have two employees, it's not hard to, one person takes lunch 11 to 12, the other one takes it 12 to 1. That just makes sense to me. So I don't know if that's something that we need to implement a policy on, but during the day, when you got two people out here, I've really seen no reason for our facility to ever be closed.
So on that note, I've talked to Josh and said, people have asked, I need to get fuel arranged for the morning or today, and there's nobody here because they're out mowing. I said, Josh, why can't you put a sign on the door that says, I'm out mowing the south part of the airport, the north part of the airport, so one of our constituents can go find it and say, hey, when you're done, or I need fuel, I need to order fuel. Same thing if they are going to City Hall or something. And the other thing I'm going to really bring up is he needs to post a big old sign that, you know, by Friday, there's an airport board meeting next Monday, 6 p.m. Because the only way these guys know is because I sent an email out to the whole airport that we were having a board meeting. Thank you for coming in.
Appreciate it.
Max twice. Yeah, I agree. We need to, but it's easy to just put a sign on the door. They can be pre-made with little stickies. Hey, I'm out mowing. I'm on the south half of the airport.
Yeah. And if they're down there, you know, with a phone number that can be,
Well, I will tell you, if you're mowing, you're not going to hear your phone.
well, you would if you're in the tractor
Oh, yes,
With
yes,
a
yeah,
cab.
on the tractor.
or something.
That's a good point.
Okay. Anything else from the commission members?
Yes, sir.
Citizens have anything that,
Well, I'd like to support Weaver on the fly loss. There's a lot of junk out there in the roadway. And I understand in the secondary taxiway, it's just not going to be 100% because of some of the roughness of the paving. But, you know, the runways where the airplanes have their speed and the jets that use thrust reversers, which will throw the debris forward and sucks it, you know, into their engine. And fog's a big deal. And even in the secondary ranks, it's a big deal because if you pick up a screw or a rock in your tire, and then when you're accelerating down the runway, since the horse throws it off, and then it can end up in your engine. So, you know, when you get into the aircraft world, it's very serious. And we're not addressing that. And there's, you know, whether the guy's flying a 150 or a Gulfstream 450, he's proud of his airplane. And they cost a lot of money to fix. So John, I really applaud you for bringing this up.
We'll get that on the agenda for next month or what?
Anything else from the citizens?
Well, I have a few things. First and foremost, every aircraft, like Bob just said, is expensive to maintain and fix. Props on my 310 are $20,000 a side. It may look ugly as hell, but it is expensive. So you're right, it's a problem. Second problem is I do not understand, number one, this is several-fold, why we cannot walk into the airport manager and get any sort of information we need to get about our accounts, for number one. For number two, I do not understand why it has taken 90 days to get a billing issue figured out, which I don't think has any end in sight at this particular juncture. These are all things that I would like to see addressed. Fact of the matter is, I've been out on this field since 2010. That's when I started flying. I don't expressly know exactly what all has happened, but I can tell you that the operations of this airport have dwindled since that point. And it hasn't been in a good way in any stretch. So I don't know what you guys need to do to get it fixed, but it needs to happen.
Can you define operations dwindling?
I'm talking
Just real quick.
I'm talking the condition of the grounds, the condition of the airport, the staff. We have a manager that cannot even tug an airplane in or out of a hangar, period. We used to have equipment sitting down where if you couldn't get your airplane tugged, you could at least tug it yourself. We don't even have that. You know, not everybody has an airplane that you can just take and jump around to the front and push in a hangar. My airplane weighs over 3,000 pounds. It's not feasible. So I would like to know exactly why these services have gone away. Why we have people, why we continually hire people that are obviously not qualified. Granted, I understand that the labor pool is fairly shallow around here. And I also understand that you guys have got the grand idea that hopefully we can find somebody that will have an aviation background that will hang around and be a good manager. But boys, if you want to get that, you're going to have to come off some money. I don't know what the answer is, but there's a whole lot of things around here
Eric,
that...
to your point, training.
Well,
That's where I wish Josh was here, because I think we need to make a push to get them trained to do these issues. Marshalling, tugging airplanes, etc.
But I would think that if we had a competent, and I'm not trying to trash on Josh. I think Josh is a hell of a nice guy. But I think if we had a competent, self-motivated manager, he would be seeking the training.
I mean, part of me wonders if, and I could be completely wrong here, fairly new on the board, but do we have a set expectation of things? Anytime you have a new employee, some sort of orientation that says, I understand day one, you're not going to know everything, but by the end of your first year, this is where you need to be at. And in a way to hold them accountable, progress measures, because finding someone to manage an airport in Alva, Oklahoma is not an easy thing. You have to, if you can't find talent, you have to create talent. And I feel like just giving him what our expectation is and saying this is what we expect of you, this is what your job is. I mean, if there's pieces of gravel or fog on the runway that needs to be picked up, that's not a difficult thing, to have someone go pick it up. I mean, I get they have a lot of responsibilities out here, but, if we need to start having a list of things that this is things that have to be done. If it's not done, you better have a really good reason why it wasn't done. I mean,
To your point, there is not a single thing out here that cannot be trained. And there is a whole host of people that would be happy to answer a question if said question was asked.
Very salient points.
The FAA Fast Team website has,
So we can
online,
task.
it has all of this training, everything that we mentioned tonight, and then some.
So not, it'll be on the agenda next month is, I'm working with the board chairman to talk about bringing more responsibility for the airport manager to be the airport manager under the airport board operationally and administratively in the city for everything else.
I think that is a perfect idea. If I'm not mistaken, that's the way it used to be.
So, got to move the mountain before the molehill, which is.
And when the airport board was over that, was when this airport operationally worked the smoothest and the best.
And we're working that in.
The board's responsible for policy and the expectations. The city is responsible for just oversight of the position, HR, that kind of stuff. But the board's responsible for the things that need to be, identifying things that are priorities and setting the priority list for the manager. I became aware of the accounts information last week. I am looking into that. It's a mess. And it's not going to get figured out quickly.
I'm very well aware.
But I am working on
But
that.
the discount's
The
working.
last-
The ADGAS discount is working and the jet fuel discount is working.
But I would
I
I
like
can't
to
speak
get,
on included that.
The last statement that you made, relay that to the airport manager
Which last statement?
about the responsibility.
But
So,
it's within, the board works as a board in the board meeting. So it's,
I disagree with that.
we'll have to
I
look
disagree.
at.
4 of the 5 board, well, 3 of the 5 board members here are pilots. And if the chairman with the board would actually give guidance and responsibilities to their airport manager and let the city just worry about the administrative part, I think we'd be back to the way it was before Joe Don done it. I'm going to be exactly, that's when it changed.
I'm all for that. I think it sounds good. The only problem I see is whenever people report to boards and not one person, it gets real complicated.
Yes. Yeah, you got to be in touch in the
Yes.
directions.
And so I don't want to put any of our employees in the position where
Right.
they're going to get a call from Paul one day, they're going to get a call from me the next day, they're going to get a call from you the next day.
That's why we're board chairman.
Okay, and
Board
that,
chairman.
as long as, I mean.
But what does
there's
the city manager know about running an airport? Absolutely nothing.
And if we have an effective city manager, the way it should work is any problem we have, we go to him like we would go to the board chairman, and he handles that. Now, he may not be an expert on running an airport, but he's
Yeah,
a,
City manager should be working hand in hand with the board leadership.
Yep.
but we've had city managers that just micromanage everything.
Yeah.
They don't
I
ask.
disagree. I'm not going to disagree.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is
Right.
this is a good
But we
segue
want-
that we can change this right now. And we can bring that up next meeting or have an executive session and talk about it.
I don't know if we can have an executive session.
No, next week.
well,
No.
that doesn't qualify under the open meeting as the executive session.
Some of those rules are, we're stuck with them.
I will check with Paul. He's got a better bookkeeping system than I do. But I think there are some guidelines and
There is,
expectations.
I have those.
Okay,
From
okay.
Paul. Yep.
Well, I don't know what changed, but I used to be able to do all my business right here. The manager knew exactly where parent was, fuel bill was. I walked in, I handed him a check, and I left. And lo and behold, we had no issues.
I dropped my check off today at the little P.O. box here. I hope they find it.
I'll make a note.
No, he's supposed to check that and take it down to City Hall.
But the issue is that when there is an issue and you got to go down to City Hall, then they tell you to call the airport manager, and then the airport manager tells you to call City Hall, and then I wind up pissed off.
Copy all. Yes.
You're heading in the right direction.
Yes, sir.
Dale is, in my opinion, and Dale is the boss out here at the airport. And anything, since he's the head of the airport board, it's not John going and telling him what to do, it's Dale telling him what to do. And if there's a problem, John can tell Dale, and Dale will take care of it.
He's out here every day.
Yeah, and so, and I think that's, if you'll go back far enough in what was done when FAA give this to, not FAA, the federal government give this to the city of Alva, it's in there. I haven't got the documents yet, but I'm getting them. But the airport is at the discretion, if ever the government ever needs this airport again, they can get it back. And so, we don't, hopefully that won't ever happen, but that's a possibility. But it's supposed to be run, the airport is supposed to be run by the airport board, and even at that one time, the airport was paying, when I was on the board, we were paying the health insurance and stuff. The reason of the employees and everybody out here, but the reason it got tough is the city bailed out the airport when they didn't have enough money to keep it going. And Marion, you know that just as well as I do, probably, or better.
So last year, we do pay their salary, their insurance, and their medical.
But it's all through
the city.
It's all through the city.
Because we can't afford to.
The airport took care of all that.
Right. And we can't afford to write a policy now for just one or two
You
employees.
can buy your policy for 2 people if you want to. And that's all I'm saying is, but it needs to get back to where Dale and the airport board is running the airport, and all the city stuff, our grants and all that would go through the city to be able to get those grants for the airport, in my opinion.
That's why I said operationally, the board chairman should work with the manager administratively. The city has the employees. Does that make sense?
There's room for improvement there.
Yep. Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else from the citizens?
I'd like to thank these three guys for showing up, making it nervous.
Thank you.
I normally have Legion tonight, so that's the reason I'm typically not here.
Okay, the next item then is to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.